Hey, what's going on, you guys? My name is the Raptor, and welcome back to Who'd Win and Why. And this time we got two of Spider-Man's most dangerous enemies going head-to-head. We got Green Goblin going up against Venom. Now, both of these characters have been on the show before. Green Goblin's been on the show twice. He fought both Joker and Hobgoblin, and Venom fought Carnage. So, it's cool to have these guys back, have returning combatants, and they're actually fighting each other, so that's really cool. So both of these characters are very dangerous. They make life really difficult for Spider-Man, but I guess now we just gotta figure out who'd actually win in a fight between the two. Now, before I start, I just want to say that I am gonna have to go somewhere pretty soon. So I'm not trying to rush this essentially, but I'm trying to do it in one take, meaning that if I do mess up or anything, I'm just gonna try to keep going. Stuff like that. I just want to make sure that I can leave here as soon as possible. Not because I don't want to, make the video, but because I actually do have to go somewhere. I'm going to a baseball game, so I just gotta try to, get this done as quick as possible. So I'm gonna try to do one take. Just thought I'd say that anyway. So, who'd win and why? Let's find out. So first I'm going to talk about Green Goblin. Now, Green Goblin, he has roughly the same stats as Spider-Man when it comes to strength, speed, and durability. I think overall he is a bit lower than that, but generally he's around the same as Spider-Man. He also has a lot of tricks with him. He has his pumpkin bombs. He has his glider, which he rides around, which can go at around 90 miles per hour. What else does he have? He also has his electrical volt wiring in his gloves, which can shoot out electrical volts at enemies. He also has different kinds of smoke and gas in his bag as well. He has a lot of those in his bag, and he has the bombs, his pumpkin bombs, which is his main weapon. Which is his weapon of choice, really. Those are the ones that he keeps the most of and that he uses most offensively. Though he does have the strength if he ever needs to actually physically fight anyone. What else about Green Goblin? So he also does wear a tunic, like a chainmail under his tunic to provide extra protection in battle. So that gives him a little bit more light protection whenever he's fighting anyone. If he's fighting Spider-Man, he needs to take his punches. He has extra protection with him. What else? So obviously Green Goblin I wouldn't want to call him a genius, but he is very smart. The Goblin Serum did increase his strength, speed, durability, and intelligence, but it also cost him his sanity. So while he is smarter than he was before he had the serum, before he injected the serum, he is insane and he is crazy. He's maniacal. So that does give him a bit more level of unpredictability. Though it is worth noting that since Green Goblin is the main villain of Spider-Man, he does generally work better when he does get prep time. Though if he does need to fight, he is more than ready to fight someone. As long as he can, take them down. He's had the most experience fighting Spider-Man. He has fought other people before, but generally he fights Spider-Man the most, obviously. And he has the most experience, though he does lose to him all the time, really. Though he does have a lot of experience fighting Spider-Man, just thought I'd say that. So those are the main things for Green Goblin, that he does, his physical stats, the general things that he has in his bag. The Goblin Glider, he does use the Goblin Glider whenever he needs to, get away for something, or if he needs to, make a quick escape, to get some distance or whatever. If he's, getting mauled or whatever, he does have the glider to make a quick escape. And he is remote controlled, so he can fly whenever he needs it. And then he just hops on top of it, and he can fly pretty much. He can fly, I don't know exactly how high in the air. I know there is a limit, but, pretty high in the air. It's a glider. So, that's the most stuff about Green Goblin. If I remember anything else, I'll go back to it. Wow, this is actually going quicker than I thought. But now let's move on to Venom. So Venom does have higher stats than Spider-Man. He is stronger, he is faster, he is more durable, and he is more dangerous. Just another thing I want to mention about Green Goblin, that Green Goblin does actually have a healing factor that is around the same level of healing as Spider-Man. Now, obviously, Spider-Man doesn't have the best healing factor, but it is better than nothing, obviously, and Green Goblin does have around the same level of healing. Just thought I'd mention that. So back to Venom. So Venom is stronger than Spider-Man. He's faster, more durable, more dangerous, as I just said. He can also spin his own webs. It's his own organic webbing that comes directly from the symbiote, which is why black webs makes much more sense than the gray or white webs or whatever. that Spider-Man has. Black webs make much more sense, but that's not what this video is about. So Venom is not the smartest, and he likes to go like head on, and he likes using his strength more than his actual powers of like wall crawling and web spinning. Though he does have them, and he can like pull large amounts of weight with them. He also has a regenerative healing factor that is better than both Spider-Man and it's Spider-Man's and Green Goblin's healing factor, so that's that gives him an extra level of healing and almost an extra level of durability as well. So that's pretty handy. It is somewhat regenerative. He has survived being impaled before, although I don't think he survived as much as like Carnage being ripped in half or like regrowing his entire head. I don't think he's had that before. I don't think he's been able to do that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think he has that level of healing. Another thing that Venom has. So Venom, he can wall crawl, he can web sling. I think he has his own version of the spider sense, and it is a bit better than Spider-Man's. So he can sense danger, and with his own reflexes being faster than Spider-Man, he can dodge pretty much anything that he notices or that his spider sense warns him of. He's pretty fast. Spider-Man can dodge automatic fire, so just think about what Venom could dodge. So Venom, yeah, he can heal. Like I said, he is not the smartest, and he can be outsmarted. In fact, that's generally how Spider-Man beats him, because Spider-Man can't completely put him down in an actual fist fight, as Venom is more durable, and he is more durable and more strong than Spider-Man. So, he can be outsmarted from time to time, and he likes to generally rely on his own brute strength. But he has a lot of strength with him. He's stronger than Spider-Man, who can lift 10 tons, which is 20,000 pounds, which is a lot when you really think about it. Because when you think about, like, actual comic book characters, they're a bit off topic, by the way, but, like, with comic book characters, when you actually think about when you apply their actual strength in the real world, I think I mentioned this in an earlier video, but 10 tons is much more than the strength of 10 men, which is enough to fracture a human skull. So when you really think about if Spider-Man was punching someone with human-level durability, they should die from one punch. But anyway, just thought I'd mention that, as some fun facts, just for the information section, why not? So I think really that's most of what I need to cover for Venom, or at least the main stuff. He has lifted a lot of weight, and he has fought stronger characters that are stronger than Spider-Man, and I'm not exactly sure how well he's prevailed, but he does have the healing and the durability. The symbiote itself is weak to fire and bombs, and I think maybe electricity. No, I'm not sure if it's electricity, but it is weak to certain things. Oh yeah, and sound. Those are the two things: fire and sound. Those are the main things that that the symbiote is weak to, and it can be, and Venom can be caught off guard if that happens, and like if there's sound, then the symbiote could start going crazy, and if it's fire, the fire could like get rid of the symbiote just from being in contact with fire. So those are the main. Oh, and also Venom is not exactly as skilled as Spider-Man. Spider-Man does have his own martial art, the way of the spider. Venom is not as, he generally likes to rely on just like straight up punching and, just fighting. He doesn't really rely on any sort of martial art. It's not really because he ever really had to, but it's also just something I thought I'd mention. So those are the main parts about Green Goblin and Venom. Again, the information might have been a bit shorter than the other times, but honestly, I have no idea why. But anyway, now I gotta think about who would actually win this fight. And man, I know that this is kind of an interesting fight. This isn't a fight that many people have actually been talking about on the internet, but you think that like Green Goblin is like arguably considered Spider-Man's most dangerous enemy, and Venom is like so popular, and he's another very popular Spider-Man villain. So it's really hard to actually come up with the winner. I'm under a lot of pressure. But also, this fight I actually think is pretty close. Originally, so I gotta think of an answer. Originally, I was gonna go with Venom. Because I'm thinking, well, Green Goblin loses to Spider-Man all the time, and then we got this guy who's stronger, faster, and more durable, and he has a healing factor, and he's a Spider-Man-like character. But after thinking about what would realistically happen, and just like what they have, and like the differences between Spider-Man and Venom, I'm actually going to give this one to the Green Goblin. I think Green Goblin would win this fight. And I know what a ton of you who keep coming back to my channel, I know what a ton of you are going to be saying. And by the way, spoiler alert for some of my past episodes. Well, you already made Venom lose once. You already made Green Goblin win twice. Why should we believe you? And guys, I understand that there are a lot of returning characters that lose both times, or they win 3 times, this being the 3rd time. But, I have, and some of you are probably going to think I'm biased. I'm biased towards Green Goblin, or I'm biased against Venom. And I have no shame in admitting that I do love Green Goblin. Green Goblin is my favorite Spider-Man villains, and in fact, one of my favorite villains in the Marvel Universe. Venom is high up there, but he's not as high as Green Goblin. And I have no shame in admitting that. But like I've said many times on my channel, that's not the point of this show. The point of the show is not to figure out who I like more. If I was to do that, I would just say that at the very beginning of the episode, or right now, I guess, is what I just did. But I would just say that if you wanted to figure out who I like more, I would tell you. But that's not the point of the show. The point of the show is to figure out who would realistically win in a fight to the death. And it just so happens that I think Green Goblin would win. Now, let me explain why, because I've already been going on too long about why, about this whole biased, non-biased thing. But anyway, here's why I think Green Goblin would win. First of all, we have to point out the obvious thing, and that is that Green Goblin has fire. Green Goblin has pumpkin bombs with him that he likes to use very frequently. Now, I'm not sure if Green Goblin already knows about this weakness with Venom, because again, I'm bringing in their knowledge about each other. Whatever Green Goblin knows about Venom, he's going to go in the fight with, and whatever Venom knows about Green Goblin, he's going to go into the fight with. But, even if Green Goblin doesn't know about this weakness, a pumpkin bomb is something that he uses very regularly, and eventually, even with Venom's reaction time and everything like that, eventually he's going to hit him, or eventually he's just going to run into the fire, and then he's going to know how to fight him. And that's just gonna trip him up. That's gonna be something that Green Goblin can use against him very effectively. Green Goblin does carry a lot of bombs with him. We rarely ever see him run out. So that's something that Green Goblin can keep using, and something that he can use to his advantage. Again, and like I said before, if Green Goblin does find himself being overpowered in an actual fight, he can call the glider, and it can either impale Venom or it could get him out of there. It's a good way for him to get more distance. And remember, Green Goblin has range, and while Venom does have range with him, and while I think actually both Venom and Spider-Man, believe it or not, are actually faster than Green Goblin's glider on foot. However, in the air, Green Goblin's glider is obviously much faster than Venom can travel using his web slinging, and that's going to be something that Green Goblin can use. He'll be faster than him, and he's going to be able to to bomb him. He's going to be able to do that faster than Venom could probably react. That's the way I see it anyway. I could be wrong with that, but that's the way that I see it. Another thing is that Venom, he doesn't have the way of the spider techniques that Spider-Man has. He does have spider sense, but he doesn't use it as his own martial art. Meaning that if Green Goblin does end up fighting Venom, while it would be a more leveled up version of Spider-Man, it's also a Spider-Man that doesn't that doesn't know as much about fighting, as an actual fighter. And I'm not saying Green Goblin's a master of fighting. He has very little actual martial art training, if any at all. But my point is, it's still going to be especially with Green Goblin's stuff that he has with him, it's going to be an easier version of Spider-Man to trip up or get distracted or something like that. And another thing, which might even be the nail in the coffin for this thing, is that Venom loses to Spider-Man a lot, and it's usually through outthinking him. It's usually because remember, Venom is stronger than Spider-Man. He's physically he's better than him in pretty much every way. But mentally, that's the way that Spider-Man can get around that. That's the way that Spider-Man can win. And we're talking about a guy who is Green Goblin is much smarter than Venom. He's a genius. Well, maybe not a genius, but the Goblin serum, it increases his intelligence as well as his strength, and it's something that eventually Green Goblin's going to be able to use, I feel, to put him down. And with the fire, the healing factor doesn't really help if Green Goblin has a specific weakness. That's a term that I like to use if there's something that specifically Venom is weak to fire and Green Goblin has fire. It's a specific weakness that Green Goblin can exploit. And through outsmarting him, I think eventually he's going to get a well-placed shot. But that's the way that I see it. If you guys, and I know a ton of you love Venom. I know that some of you are saying that Venom would win because he's so much stronger and he's a lot like Spider-Man. That's personally the way I see it. If you really think that Venom would win, please tell me in the comments, because I don't know exactly a ton of their feats or anything when it comes to power scaling or anything like that. I don't know a lot of that. So if you honestly think that Venom would win, please tell me in the comments, because that'll probably give me some more information, and that's cool. I like to know more about these characters. If you enjoyed this episode of Who'd Win and Why, please give me a like. I always appreciate the likes. Comment down below what you thought of it, and if you could subscribe to my channel, that would honestly make make my day. That would be so nice if you could, and you get notified in your subscription feed every time I get a new episode of Hood, Win, and Why out if you like the series. But if you could subscribe, that would honestly be so great. You don't have to, but if you could, that'd be awesome. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed my Hood, Win, and Why, Green Goblin versus Venom, and next time we got the two teen shapeshifters. We got Ben 10 going up against Beast Boy. See you all then.